Good evening, everyone. My name is Nawar, and I'd like to share my story with you. But before I do, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and pay my respect to them and their elders, both past and present. I'm from Baghdad, Iraq, one of three boys. My mom was a physics teacher at a high school in Baghdad. My dad was a manager in Ministry of Finance. My parents raised me very well and helped me to get a good education. In 2002, I completed my undergraduate degree in agricultural science at the University of Baghdad. I graduated in the top of 3 of my classes. And as a result, this allowed me to get a scholarship to study for a master's. This turned out to be a really good thing for me for 2 reasons. First, I got study. Second, that meant I wasn't forced to fight in the US-Iraqi war. In April 2003, the Saddam regime collapsed. I had just started my master's research, which focused on growing different types of cotton and testing their tolerance to salinity in soil. That meant I had to travel to farms where the cotton was growing. It was hard to get to the farms, as the roads were filling with hidden bombs. I remember one journey watching the US convoy travel down the street, and suddenly there was an explosion. The part of the bomb shattered the window on my bus. Unfortunately, that was a common occurrence. The end of Saddam regime meant there was renewed hope in my country. The new government created scholarships to send students overseas with the hope of developing skills and bringing them back to help rebuild the country. So I was lucky enough to win a scholarship to study my PhD at the University of Adelaide in 2007. Wow, everyone knows Adelaide. Good. So I spent the first year learning English and then commenced my PhD researching different types of wheat and their tolerance to salinity. I fell in love with Adelaide and with Australia. Australia is safe, free, easygoing, and developed countries. Most Australian universities have an excellent facilities to achieve high-quality research. I really enjoyed my time in Adelaide. I remember when I was reaching the end of my PhD, and my classmates were very nervous about finding a job. They spent many hours a day applying for jobs and thinking about their future. I didn't need to worry about that because an Australian PhD meant that there was a job waiting for me as a lecturer at the University of Baghdad when I got back home. I was very enthusiastic, excited, and eager to return to Iraq and share my experience, my knowledge, my skills in science, like Aussie experience. It was amazing to be back home. My parents were very proud that I had got my PhD in Australia. But as soon as I arrived back in Iraq, it was clear the situation had become much worse while I had been away. In the second week of my arrival, I went to the suburb of Karada in Baghdad. This is the fashion district. When I got off the bus, I thought it was going to have a day out shopping. But 15 minutes later, I came the closest I have ever been to a car bomb. Just behind me, a car exploded, and many people were hurt. So what I did, I ran into a side street, hid in a small shop. I bought a Coke to calm myself down. The people in the shop told me to relax. Are these types of explosions just part of everyday life in Baghdad? I began teaching at the university, and no longer after, I was approached by 3 students. They demanded that I pass them, even though they were not attending all the classes, and they were not doing very well in their studies. They told me they couldn't come to class because they were in the militia and fighting. When I asked the university for advice, they just turned a blind eye. I knew what they were asking was simply the wrong things to do and against Baghdad University rules. But I know that other colleagues who was approached by students demanding passing grades and had refused had been killed. Some were killed for the content of the lectures, some for the reason we will just never know. Because of this, I give up my dreams of contributing to science in my country. This forced me to leave Iraq, and as Australia had been the place where I studied and felt safe, Australia where I headed for. September last year, I arrived in Australia seeking protection, and this protection had been granted. And now I want to restart my life here and contribute to science in Australia. I'm very sad to be away from my country and my family, but now I no longer need to live in fear. In Iraq, I know many people who work in field of agricultural science, but here I know no one. My supervisors from Adelaide have moved on. Budget teams had been cut. I have moved to New South Wales as it is the biggest state in Australia. But I don't know one here, I don't have network. It is challenging, and I have often felt alone. Thankfully, I met CareerSeekers, and they have taught me lots of things about working in Australia and what I need to do to get a job. CareerSeekers helped me find me an internship with the New South Wales Government Department of Primary Industries. And I'm very excited about this. So next week, I'm leaving for 12 weeks and going to a place called Wagga Wagga. Wow, looks Wagga Wagga is good. I don't know much about Wagga Wagga. It's a congratulation. I know it's very cold, and that coming from a hot country like Iraq, I'm going to have dress up warm. But I also hear there are lots of pubs. And that country people are very friendly. I want to get married. So I hope the people are very friendly. At Wagga Wagga's Agricultural Institute, they work a lot in plant genetics with the focus on canola and wheat. It will be great to be back working in science and starting to build my professional contacts in New South Wales. So I want to say thank you to the New South Wales Department of Primary Industries for giving this opportunity. And I hope that by refreshing my knowledge and my skills in science during my internship, I will make a great contribution to science in Australia. So thanks, and I wish you all an enjoyable time tonight.